Sometimes we need to track more information than is available in QuickBooks. Instead of making do or putting information in inappropriate fields, that absolutely drives me crazy when people do that, you can create custom fields. Now, before we get there, it's important to remember that QuickBooks is actually just a database. Everything that we've been using are fields. When we write a check to a vendor, that's a field, and the amount and the date. So all we're doing is kind of accessing that database that resides behind the scenes in QuickBooks and using it to customize our own views. For example, I need to add a couple of things to my customer forms. I want to add the software that the client uses and the operating system. That way I can kind of make sure that they're in the right classes, or if I'm trying to do some communications, I can make sure that I communicate correctly. That isn't something that QuickBooks certainly usually worries about, but it's something that my company wants to worry about, so we're going to go ahead and add a couple of custom fields to our customer records. The process is actually quite simple. I'm going to simply open any one of my records. I'll go ahead and double-click Brookfield Mechanical. That opens it up, and I'll go to the Additional Info tab. And there is a nice button here under Custom Fields that says Define Fields. I will warn you, if you have done any customization or database work, you might be a little bit disappointed. There's not much to defining fields in QuickBooks. When I click this button, I simply get a dialog box that asks me to label them, and if I want that field to apply to customer jobs, vendors, or employees, or combinations of those. I'll go ahead and create my labels for OS, for operating system, and software. And then I'll apply both of those to the customers. Then I'll say OK, and it says that I've activated custom fields for my list. This is actually a good little helpful thing. You can also use these fields in transactions by turning them on in custom templates. What that means is I could have this show in a statement or an invoice, for example. I'll say OK, and thank you for sharing the information. And now when I return to my customer record, both of those fields are here. Now, as I said, they're not really that special. A text box is all I can create. I can't put in default values. I can't create other types of things, but I do have a box. So now I could say that Brookfield is actually using Windows XP. And the software that we're using is Office 2007. And of course, the new QuickBooks 2009, since we're doing their implementation. I can say OK to that. And I'm going to go ahead and open Sharon's record and go to her Additional Info tab, just because I wanted to show you that this actually does spread across all of the different customers that we have. Customers, employees, and vendors are the three options, simply using those checkboxes. I'll finish this off real quick. I'll go ahead and click OK. Later on, when we talk about customizing templates and forms, we'll show you how to use those fields in different places.